please lie down on your back. And take a few moments to feel yourself lying on the floor. Noticing your breathing. And feel which parts of you are touching the floor. And how might one side be different from the other? The right side? From the left? Can you detect little differences in how your right shoulder, your shoulder blade, and your left shoulder blade connect to the ground? Is it symmetrical, or is something different on one side? And how about your ribs, your rib cage, on the right and the left side? How does the right side connect to the floor? And how does the left side connect to the floor? The right and the left sides of your waist. The back of your waist. The right and the left sides of your pelvis. Does one side of your pelvis feel more weighted? Do the backs of your thighs touch the ground or not? And if they do touch the floor, does one have a different area of contact than the other? And if they don't touch the floor, how far from the floor are they on the right and on the left? And include the backs of your knees in your awareness. And follow that down to the backs of your calves on the right and on the left. And the right and the left heel. Do your ankles make contact with the ground or not? And now bring your awareness up to your head and sense how your head is resting on the floor. If you were to locate the middle of the back of your skull, would you be resting more to the right or to the left? Or right in the middle? And now roll your head a little to the right and a little to the left, and feel, is there a difference in the turning, in the quality of the turning on one side compared to the other? And bend up both your knees and place your feet flat on the floor. And take your right hand and place it on your forehead. Have your fingers pointing to the left. The heel of your hand will be off to the right. Just kind of rest your hand there. And now, leaving your neck completely passive, use your hand and your arm to roll your head. So your right elbow will be making an arc through space, coming closer towards the floor and then away. And allow your head and your neck to be completely passive. And listen to this relationship, this interaction between your right arm, your neck, your right shoulder, the shoulder blade, and rest your right arm down by your side somewhere or on your belly. And now do the same movement with your left hand. Place your left hand on your head, fingertips pointing towards the right, and with a completely passive, very heavy head, roll your head using your hand, using your arm, and sense how this side may be different in the shoulder or the neck, taking care not to push beyond any boundaries that are uncomfortable. And how does this side relate, all these parts, your hand, your arm, your shoulder, and your head? How do they all relate to one another? And feel the arc that your elbow is making in space. And rest your arm. Bring your arm down and rest a moment. And now notice where your head is resting now. Did it change? And now again, without your hands, roll your head. And see if that's a little different now, the quality of rolling your head. Turning your chin, your nose. Did that change? And pause there on your back and feel again how your shoulders are fitting against the ground. Where you feel the clearest points of pressure in how the right and the left shoulder fit against the ground, and where is there less pressure. And now turn slowly to rest on your most comfortable side, and have your knees drawn up at right angles to your body, the top leg resting on the bottom leg, with your knees touching. If you need a head support to make your head more comfortable, please take one. Allow yourself enough room in the front and the back of your head support so that you can roll a little forwards towards your forehead and a little backwards towards the back of your head without rolling or falling off of your head support. And once you have yourself situated, have your arms outstretched long on the floor in front of you, with the top arm resting on the bottom arm, palms together. And now, leaving your arms straight, lift your top arm in the direction of the ceiling and sweep it in an arc up towards the ceiling, and as you do this movement, turn your head and your eyes to follow it. So keep going with that arm, so the back of your arm is aiming towards the floor behind you, and you're watching your hand travel through space with your face and your eyes, and just see how far you can comfortably open up in this side in the direction of the floor behind you. Your top leg will stay on your bottom leg, more or less. And bring your arm back where you started, sweeping your arm in an arc through space and bringing your top palm to rest on the bottom palm. And take a breath there. And again, do the same movement. Lift your top arm upwards towards the ceiling and sweep it so the back of the hand begins to look in the direction of the floor behind you. and the head is turning, the eyes are following the hand, and just see how far you can comfortably bring your arm back without any strain. It doesn't have to touch the floor. And come back and rest your top arm on your bottom arm. And now lift your top arm so that your fingertips are pointing towards the ceiling and the arm is vertical in relationship to the floor. Your nose is pointing in the direction of your hand that's resting on the floor in front of you. So your top arm is long and the fingers are pointing towards the ceiling and you're looking towards the hand on the floor. We'll call this the neutral position. Bring your arm down a moment to rest it. And now bring your arm up again to this neutral starting position. Leaving your arm up, leaving your top arm up, fingers pointing at the ceiling. And now several times, simply lengthen your arm up towards the ceiling and let it sink back down and feel what happens in your back as you do this. Lengthening and then allowing the raised arm to sink vertically back to its neutral starting place in the shoulder. The arm stays vertical, the fingertips pointing at the ceiling. And feel the weight of your raised arm when you come to neutral, resting in your shoulder, and find out how do you lengthen it and from where does this movement start. Bring your arm down and pause a moment. Just rest your arm somewhere comfortably. And again, sweep your arm up towards the ceiling and leave it there. And now begin to experiment with lengthening and letting it return to neutral, but the arm stays vertical to the floor, lengthening and coming back down. And now can you feel your shoulder doing something? Can you sense it moving in your back? Shoulder blade perhaps sliding along the ribs behind you, coming a little bit further away from the spine and then settling back down a little closer to the spine. Can you feel that? And bring your arm down, just anywhere to rest it. Bring your arm up again, sweep your arm up to your neutral position there, balanced vertically in relationship to the floor. And now leaving your arm straight and the arm vertical, move the arm in the opposite direction, as though you were shortening it away from the ceiling, leaving your elbows straight and the fingertips pointing towards the ceiling. So now find out how you can shorten your arm, not bringing it behind you, but shorten it. And return to neutral a few times. Leaving your arm vertical. And bring your arm down, just anywhere to rest it. And bring the same arm up again in the same way, vertical to the floor, fingertips pointing at the ceiling. And again, begin to shorten your arm away from the ceiling and return to neutral, keeping your elbow straight. So your elbow will stay straight, which means that the movement will have to happen from somewhere in your shoulder, somewhere in your back. And what is the path of this movement? Does it go straight down your shoulder blade there in the back, or does it follow a different path than when you were lengthening your arm? find the easiest path for your shoulder blade to travel to shorten your extended arm. It may be very circuitous. Bring your arm down and rest it. And again, bring your top arm up into your neutral vertical position. And now combine both of these movements, both of these directions. Begin to lengthen and then shorten your straight arm, sensing your shoulder blade moving in your back. Even if it's just a little bit, it can be a very small movement. And feel from where you organize this movement. What's your shoulder blade doing? How is it moving? And are you breathing? Do you tend to breathe out as you lengthen or in? Find a nice, easy way to breathe that's in sync with the movement. And rest your arm. And now let's see if doing these movements of lengthening and shortening the arm have had any effect on how you take your arm and sweep it behind you. So start with your arms long in front of you, the top palm resting on the bottom palm, arms straight in front of the chest. And sweep your top arm up in an arc towards the ceiling, following it with your head and your eyes, turning your face, watching your hand, leaving your top knee on the bottom knee as you sweep your arm behind you towards the floor behind you. Doesn't need to touch. And come back. And again, sweep your arm upwards towards the ceiling, watching it with your head and your eyes, smoothly, slowly, lowering the arm in the direction of the floor behind you. Feel how your arm opens up, how the chest opens up across the front. And come back. Feeling how you come back. And come onto your back and take a full rest. Remove your head support if you're using one. And now just notice if there's any difference in how your right shoulder and your left shoulder fit against the ground. Or anything else. Is there anything else that feels different? Come again onto the same side. Bend your knees, roll onto your side, and have your top leg resting on your bottom leg, the knees bent at right angles to the body. Both arms outstretched in front of you, the top palm resting on the bottom palm. And notice if you need your head support, and if so, go ahead and use it. And again, lift your long top arm upwards towards the ceiling to neutral. So your fingertips are pointed towards the ceiling. And again, begin this movement of lengthening and shortening your vertical arm. And now, if you were to choose a direction to roll towards the front or towards the back as you did this movement, would you want to roll towards the front or towards the back as you lengthened your arm? What would make the most sense? So play around with it a little bit. Try lengthening the arm upwards as you roll the body a little bit forwards. And then try lengthening the arm as you roll a little bit backwards. See which one makes the most sense. Bring your arm down and rest. Just rest it anywhere. Bring your top arm up to your neutral vertical position again, and again begin to explore lengthening and shortening the arm. And as you lengthen your arm, try rolling a little bit forwards in the direction of your nose, and allow your head to turn a little bit, allow your chest to turn a little bit in the direction of the floor. And as you shorten your arm, let your face turn and let your chest turn a little bit towards the ceiling. So as you lengthen your arm, you'll turn your face and your chest a little bit towards the floor. And as you shorten your arm and bring the shoulder blade down towards the spine, your face and your head and your chest can turn in the direction of the ceiling a little bit. Play with this movement several times. And rest your arm. And again, raise up your top arm and begin this lengthening and shortening of your vertical arm and this rolling of your chest, your ribs, and your head, so that this lengthening and shortening is somehow rolling you, as though someone had hold of your wrist and they were pulling it upwards towards the ceiling. That would somehow roll you forwards, and then if they were to push downwards through your straight arm in the direction of your shoulder blade, there would be a response in your upper body, your torso, your neck, your head. And sense that relationship between this movement and the turning of your upper body, allowing your face to participate, letting your head turn. And bring your arm down, just anywhere to rest it. And now have your top arm either draped long along your body, if that's comfortable, or place your palm of your hand on the floor somewhere in front of your chest, in a sort of a push-up position that you could support yourself there with that front arm. And now begin a very small movement of lengthening your top knee forwards in the direction that your knees are pointing. Lengthen your top knee forward, slide that leg forwards so your pelvis is going to roll. And come back. And again, slide that top knee along the bottom knee a little bit forward and come back to neutral. Lengthening forward and coming back to neutral, feeling how this movement also invites you to roll a little bit towards your chest. Pause a moment. And now reverse that movement and go the other way. Slide your knee backwards along the bottom leg. Slide the top knee backwards along the bottom leg so that the pelvis begins to roll a little bit back. Just a little bit back. And coming back to neutral, shortening that top leg, sliding that top knee along the bottom knee, rolling the pelvis a little bit towards the back, coming back to neutral. And pause. And now again, raise up your top arm and bring it to your neutral vertical position with with your fingertips pointing towards the ceiling. And begin this lengthening and shortening of your vertical arm and this rolling of your chest, your ribs and your head, and maybe even allow your top leg to slide forwards and backwards a little bit as you lengthen and shorten the arm. And feel how you travel across the side of your body. Feel the contact of your ribs on the floor and how that changes a little bit as you roll forwards and a little bit back. And as you roll towards the back, allow your face to turn in the direction of the ceiling. And allow your face to turn a little bit more in the direction of the floor now as you lengthen your arm. So we're gradually beginning to increase this rotation, taking care of any discomfort. We don't want to work into any kind of discomfort zone. And rest your arm. And now, raise your arm up again and continue to explore this movement. Make it very languid and comfortable, soft and gentle. And how far down into yourself can you feel this movement? How far down into your back, through your back, or into your waist? Is your pelvis responding at all? Does the top knee slide easily along the bottom knee? Just follow the movement and see where it travels. And the next time you shorten your arm, simply continue on towards your back and lengthen down your legs and take a full rest on your back. And notice now how the right and the left sides of yourself fit against the ground. Compare how your breathing is on the right and on the left sides. And roll your head a little bit to the right and a little bit to the left. Does that feel different now? Is it easier one direction? Did something change? And pause. And bend your knees and find a very comfortable way to roll again onto the same side. Have your arms long in front of you, the top arm resting on the bottom arm, palms together. Use your head support if you need to. And now let's try the movement that we did in the beginning, sweeping your top arm up towards the ceiling and following it with your head, your face, your eyes. Just feel how the arm opens up, the back of the hand coming towards the floor behind you. It doesn't have to touch. And come back. Feel how you come back. And now lift your top arm up towards the ceiling again and find your neutral place where it can remain vertical. And begin again to lengthen and shorten the arm and to roll yourself forwards and backwards a little bit as you've been doing. And as you lengthen the arm and you roll towards the front, allow your face, your chest, your head to turn, your top knee to slide along the bottom knee. And as you shorten the arm, allow your chest and your face to turn in the direction of the ceiling, sliding your top knee along the bottom knee. The arm is vertical. And continue reaching and shortening and rolling like this. And now find out, experiment a little bit for yourself. If you were to rotate your entire arm one direction, which direction would you want to rotate it as you roll to the front? the entire arm from the shoulder all the way to the fingertips. And which direction might you want to rotate your arm as you roll to the back? Bring your arm down and rest. Bring your arm up again and begin to experiment with this movement. Which way would you want to rotate your hand so that the palm of your hand would come to face a different direction? So if you're lengthening, if your palm is facing to the wall in front of you as it's vertical, which direction would you want to rotate your arm so that your palm would come to face the direction of the back wall, the wall behind you, as you roll forwards? And vice versa. How might you rotate or spiral your entire arm in your back so that the palm would come to face another direction as you roll towards your back? Fingertips stay pointing towards the ceiling more or less. Which direction is it easiest to have your palm facing as you roll forward and as you roll back, lengthening and shortening your arm? Rest your arm a moment. And lift your arm again. Bring it to your vertical neutral place. And now lengthen your arm as you roll towards the front. And rotate your arm so that your palm begins to face the back wall behind you. And now shorten your arm and roll towards your back and allow your arm to rotate so that your palm comes to face the same direction that the top of your head is pointing. And try this movement a couple of times, lengthening and rolling and rotating your arm as you go forwards and shortening and rolling and rotating your arm as you go back. See if you can find a smooth, easy connection of your arm to rolling. Smooth, easy connection of your arm into your back and your chest. And rest your arm a moment. And again, bring your arm up to the same vertical neutral position. And again, lengthen your arm and roll towards the front as you rotate your palm to face in the direction of the wall behind you. And rolling towards the back, rotate your arm so that the palm faces the direction of the top of your head. And try this movement just 2 or 3 more times. And see if you can feel this spiraling. How far through yourself can you feel this spiraling movement? As though your arm lengthening and shortening and spiraling is directing the rest of you to roll to the front and roll to the back. Allow your head and your chest to turn. And take a full rest on your back. Bend your knees and comfortably roll again onto the same side. Have your arms long in front of you, palm on top of palm. Do you still need your head support? And now we'll do a rather unusual movement. Lift your top arm towards the ceiling in your vertical neutral place, and your face will stay turned in the direction of the hand that's resting on the floor. And now bring the arm that's in the air back down to rest on the arm that's on the floor, and as you do, turn your face to look in the direction of the ceiling. And repeat that several times. So as you open the arm upwards towards the ceiling, turn your face to look in the direction of the hand that's on the floor. And as you bring your arm back down to rest palm on top of palm, turn your face in the general direction of the ceiling, taking care of your neck. You don't have to see the ceiling. Stay comfortable and bring your arm down and rest on your side a moment. Lift your arm again up towards the ceiling and have your face looking at the hand that's on the floor. Leaving your head as it is and your vertical arm as it is, look out of the corner of your eyes as though to look up at the lifted arm, with your eyes only. So your eyes are looking in the direction of the ceiling and your face stays looking forwards. And now as you lower your arm back down on top of your other arm, turn your face towards the ceiling and turn your eyes to look at your hands that are now on the floor. So now your arm and your head are moving in opposition, and your eyes are following your hand as it sweeps up towards the ceiling and back down towards the floor. Try this movement pattern a few times. I'll say it again. Keep your face forward as you sweep your arm upwards in the direction of the ceiling, watching the hand sweeping upwards with your eyes only. And as you bring that arm down to rest on top of the palm that's resting on the floor, turn your head in the direction of the ceiling and take your eyes to watch your hand as it lowers towards the floor. Go slowly. This movement pattern is rather unconventional. And can you breathe as you do this? And then as you sweep your arm upwards towards the ceiling, bring your head to look in the direction of the hand that's on the floor, watching your hand that's sweeping upwards towards the ceiling with your eyes. So your hand and your head are moving in opposition, and your eyes are watching your sweeping arm. Your sweeping arm and your head are moving in opposite directions, and your eyes are watching the movement of your arm as it sweeps upwards and downwards. And let it all go, and rest on your back. What we're doing is shaking up a neurological pattern, the coordination between hand and eye movements. When this pattern is challenged, there can often be a profound change in how you organize the movements of your head, your neck, your spine, your entire self. Bend your knees, roll onto your side, and have your top leg resting on your bottom leg, the knees bent at right angles to the body. Both arms outstretched in front of you, the top palm resting on the bottom palm. And now let's try our initial movement of sweeping the top arm up towards the ceiling and on towards the floor behind you, following it with your head and your eyes. Opening the arm up smoothly, taking your arm back, and your pelvis can roll, the top knee can slide a bit back, maybe even lift off the bottom knee, and feel what's rolling, feel what's turning, feel all the parts of you moving together, and just see how that goes now. How does your arm open up? What is the feeling across the front of your chest? If your top knee needs to come off the bottom knee, let it come off and come back smoothly. Feel how you come back everything moving and turning together, and let it all go, and rest on your back. Sense yourself lying on the floor now, and sense the difference between the right and the left sides of your body. How is the side that was working, the side that was sweeping up towards the ceiling and rolling towards the back and front, how does that side connect to the floor compared to the other side? And try rolling your head and see how it rolls to the right and to the left. Is it different one way than the other? And rest on your back. This lesson ends here. So a little later today or tomorrow, whenever you have time, when you feel like it, rewind this tape and try it on the other side. So now go ahead and rest on the floor a few moments longer. And roll yourself beautifully to your side and come to standing. And sense yourself a moment in standing. Spend a few more minutes with yourself, moving around, and notice the difference between the side you've worked on and the side that you are lying on.